Hello and blessings. My name is Jenna Paulden. I'm a priestess in the Sacred Order of Mary and Magdalene and an ancient priestess of Avalon. I'm also a bard in the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids. I'm a writer, a singer, a Findhorn-inspired gardener, a wife, a daughter, a mother, a grandmother. Yet none of these titles truly define me. I'm an old soul having a human experience, doing my best to walk the way of love, to embody that frequency for this great shift that we're all contributing to. To find out more of what I'm about on this plane, you could go to my website, jennapaulden.com. It's the month of July, the month of Mary Magdalene's feast day, and it's been a wild ride so far this month, I have to say. My goodness. But in honor of Mary Magdalene, this powerful teacher and miraphor, lover and tower, lighthouse, she is still an inspiration to me and I think many others. And I wanted to share a little preview from my upcoming book, which is entitled Spiral of Love. There's a chapter, actually she appears a couple times, but this chapter is called The Divine Template. And a little more about the book. It's a multi-dimensional love story. It's just my deepest prayer is that it can be code opening and awakening, helpful and inspiring for all of us on this evolutionary path. It was written with that intent, and that's my prayer. The main character is a middle-aged woman of our time called Gwynna. And I'm sharing with you this chapter called The Divine Template. And I also would like to say about the book that it's a work of fiction, but there are many aspects of my magical life that have translated into this book based on real life. Not all, but many. And this chapter is one of those. So I'm going to be reading, so bear with me. I'm telling you a story. In midsummer, a fit of house cleaning seized Gwynna. She whirled through the rooms, dusting, vacuuming, mopping, and then went out to her garden to pick some flowers. When she was done, the house glowed and it smelled wonderfully of fresh air, beeswax, and roses. As her final task, Gwynna cleaned and dusted her altar, then sat before it in contemplation. A single pink rose in a small blue pottery vase grounded the space in earth and water. She lit a candle and took a centering breath of air, then opened her awareness to the divine presence of ether in all four elements. She rooted herself, sending her light down through her earth star, through the Gaia gateway, and down to touch the core of Mother Earth. And as always, meeting the heart of Gaia sent a rush of love up her spine, right to her own heart. Tears sprang to her eyes. Taking a breath, Gwynna spiraled that energy up, up, up her chakra pillar, out through her crown, through her soul star, through the stellar gateway, expanding in layers, higher and higher to the field of all that is, which is right here now. And then she touched all the sacred stars and the planets, the galactic center, and love source itself. Calling that light down with a delicious quiver, she felt the cosmic light spin down and fizz all the way through her body, down her spine, grounding again into the earth. For several minutes, she breathed this flow up and down, allowing her sore muscles to relax and her heart to open more deeply. Then, with a lovely sigh, Gwyna opened her eyes. Her beloved crystals winked in the sunlight, such a rainbow of color and wisdom. And among the crystals stood an eclectic collection of divine helpers. The 4 archangels, Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, and beloved Raphael, Mother Mary, Shiva and Parvati, Saraswati, Lakshmi, other divine teachers of recent incarnation, and a beautiful picture of Master Yeshua. The image was based on the Shroud of Turin, and it was enhanced with color. His eyes held her attention. As Gwyna looked into Yeshua's eyes, she reflected that her loving relationship with him had nothing to do with the botched program of power and control by fear that had constituted so much of organized religion in his name. Her connection reached far back into the ageless memories of her soul. How once he'd placed his hand on her head, sending a lightning bolt through her crown chakra and changing her DNA forever. His beloved companion, Miriam, the Magdalene, and his mother, Mary, also vibrated deep within Gwyna's soul memory. And through the millennia, she and her soul had incarnated and loved the Marys deeply. In this life, she'd always known in her bones that Mary was a title, and that Mary Magdalene was the companion of Yeshua, the wife. After all, a Jewish man could not have been a rabbi without being married. And Miriam had anointed him with spikenard before his death rebirth initiation. That was a task only a wife could perform, that particular sacred ritual. What a simple, beautiful truth that the church had hidden and covered up for so long. Gwyna remembered a week-long retreat she'd done with leaders of the dances of universal peace. They had danced and chanted a complex zikr to the Aramaic words of the Lord's Prayer. After all, Yeshua spoke Aramaic, not Greek, not Latin, certainly not English. And at the end of that 2-hour dance, after fully engaging in the sounds and syllables of that entire Aramaic prayer, Gwyna found herself just glowing in an altered state. And in that moment, Yeshua's presence pierced her heart once more. It was an indescribable nectar so effulgent with the power of love that words could not describe it. She felt his touch as a benediction of pure grace, and she found herself exclaiming, "Sweet Jesus!" just like an enraptured Pentecostal churchwoman. Gwyna smiled, recalling that vivid experience. The Aramaic phrases and their rich meaning were so easily expressed through singing and dancing in a kind of focused, embodied ecstasy. Yes, she thought with a sweet shiver, that's what Yeshua and the Marys wanted, for us to wake up within to our own holy presence, our I am, that I am, to ascend the tree of life and return to this beloved earth to live as anthropos, fully, radiantly embodied humans, balanced within, male and female, sun and moon, knowing our true selves as eternal light. Oh, this great alchemy of spiritual transformation has expressed through all true paths. Gwenna reflected on it. It's just the way of love. And Yeshua reminds us to love ourselves, the key teaching, and to love others as ourselves. Oneness and compassion, peace, love. And even as so many of us work to embody this, the world wages on in many parts of this planet, still in the grip of trauma, violence, fear. The greed and domination paradigm continues. Gwenna sighed. And yet, I do believe we're helping to turn it around. After all, we do create new realities as we heal and we come home to the truth, the frequency of source love that we are, and that affects the all. Those of us who live in relative peace and safety are the bridge builders. It's really like we have a sacred responsibility to hold love for those who can't right now. It's up to us. We're the ones we've been waiting for. She grinned at that well-worn phrase. But it's true, she thought. All that we do matters. Gwenna had been lost in her reverie. Suddenly she snapped to attention, looking carefully at the picture on her altar. Now, of course, Yeshua remained whole and complete within himself, but for several thousand years, with rare exceptions, he had been portrayed as a single guy. There he sat in the frame, all alone. An epiphany flashed. Oh my God, if every church replaced an agonized portrayal of the crucifixion with a painting of Yeshua and Miriam walking the way of love and blessing the world, well, after the violent outcry, there might be some change. Gwenna chuckled. If Jesus, with his dark skin and Middle Eastern looks, walked into a church, introduced his wife, and talked about healing and unconditional love, well, some might be shocked, maybe even angry. She sighed and looked deeply into Yeshua's eyes. So many lifetimes of holding the secret teachings, she whispered, and being killed for it, or tortured. Gwenna shook herself like a duck, erasing the witch memory of being on the rack that had erupted during her divorce. And even now, when I put a log on a hot fire and feel the searing heat, I shudder. I know I've been burned at the stake as well. Yeshua's eyes melted into hers, pouring a stream of compassion and sorrow into her heart. I know, she said. It must be difficult to witness all that horror committed in your name and all the misunderstanding of your teaching. Well, and plus, your beloved wife being labeled a whore by the church. Gwenna straightened her shoulders and sat up. But no more! She shouted, that was then, this is now. With fire in her eyes, she said, the voice of the sacred feminine is awakening again, and you and your beloved companion shall be known in truth once more. At least in this house, for starters, she amended. Picking up the picture of Yeshua, Gwenna opened the back of the frame and extricated the paper. She brought Yeshua to the printer. Carefully, she cut a blank piece of paper to cover his nose and mouth, just leaving his beautiful eyes. Gwenna addressed the picture. Now, after all, I think she was a twin flame of yours, so the eyes will be the same. Then she laid Yeshua face down on the screen and made several color copies. Now she had the eyes with a blank face for drawing Miriam. Working with colored pencil and soft graphite, she sketched a long feminine nose with a wide sensual mouth that held the hint of a smile. It took several tries to get the drawing right. She worked quickly, sure of her vision, which arose from a deep memory in her soul. Gwynna shaded the Magdalene's face to match the picture of her beloved, then added longer lashes to her eyes and a dark smudge of kohl. Amazing, she thought. Now they look like her own eyes, though they're the same as his. Gwynna added Mary Magdalene's long, dark, reddish hair, subtly framing her face. And at last, with a satisfied sigh, she placed the drawing next to the picture of Yeshua, and something clicked into place within her heart. Yes, now the alchemy is complete. They live within me as a sacred union, a divine template. Indeed, her inner voice added, you have just created a profound hologram, a template of sacred relationship. It reflects respect, inner gnosis, and pure love. Let it feed you, Gwynna. The world will catch up. Gwynna nodded slowly, gazing at her spontaneous artwork. Then she placed the pictures side by side in the printer and made a copy of the divine couple. I'll get a large, lovely frame for you, she promised, but for the moment she propped them up on her altar. My new inspiration, she thought. And so it is, Gwynna affirmed aloud. Right then, she didn't feel desperate or yearning for a partner. She just felt peaceful and empowered. And I will share with you this image. See how it makes you feel. It's been something that I've carried with me for, goodness, almost 10 years, and it still works its magic. So my wish for you is that your inner union will lead you to your heart's desire, whatever that may be for you, for your soul. Walk in love, and blessed be. Thank you for listening. I will be back with more at another time. If you appreciated this in any way or have a comment, please let me know. That would be great. Blessings.